Okay. I'm sorry. I get so nervous when I'm on video, but um, for the prompt, I think like when I can't really remember much from my childhood, to be honest. But for primary and secondary schooling, I think it was pretty developmentally appropriate. So I think that comparing my experiences to the theories of Piaget, Vygotsky, and Bruner, there is a clear contrast though, especially when I was getting older. Um, so in primary school, I feel like I had a pretty easy time learning new things. My teachers used hands-on activities and models, and Piaget always said that children between the ages of 7 and 12 are in the concrete operational stage, which is when we're supposed to be capable of logical thought, but our reasoning is restricted to real concrete objects and not hypothetical situations. So because my teachers used those physical models, there was an optimal match between my cognitive stage and the material that was being taught. So that would, I guess, be the textbook definition of developmentally appropriate education. Um, for secondary school, so when I hit high school, I feel like it completely changed. So the schooling began to get harder, and I feel like me and my classmates who came from the same middle school, we kind of all collectively agreed that it was a struggle. Going from eighth to ninth grade, the teaching shifted completely to lectures and abstract instructions. A lot of like read this and follow the instructions without any physical examples to help guide us. Piaget identifies this period as the formal operational stage. So this is when we're supposed to develop the ability to think rationally about abstract concepts. So I think that the transition was just really jarring because we were not able to have those visual aids anymore. And it took our class about a year to actually warm up to um, the material and like the way that the teachers were teaching the material. And Piaget refers to that as the equilibrium. Um, for despite the transition being a little difficult, um, high school I feel like did do a good job of having that social learning environment. So Vygotsky argued that cognitive development relies heavily on social interactions and the zone of proximal development, which is the space between what you can do alone and what you can achieve with help. And in high school, we constantly were in groups, and we either got to pick our groups at the beginning, or if our class was a little rowdy, then they would pick groups for us and then like kind of shuffle us around over the semester. So we kind of got to speak to everyone and learn how everyone else was kind of adjusting to the work. So that was like that scaffolded instruction. We put our heads together and solved abstract problems. And I often acted as the more knowledgeable other. I tutored younger kids in math during primary school. Um, and then I spent a lot of time in high school proofreading for MLA essays for friends. For ultimately, though, because I do have autism and ADHD, the lecture heavy formats in high school and college often were a struggle for me to get used to because focus does not come easily to me when it's lecture based. My motor tics, like I fidget a lot and kind of move just a lot. I need my hands to be occupied. So that hands-on learning is really something that I enjoy. It helps me learn a lot quicker. Um, and Bruner had this concept of discovery learning, which suggests that students learn best when they manipulate materials to discover patterns themselves rather than just being handed the final information in a lecture. Um, and I think that an active discovery-based approach wasn't just for childhood. It was like most the most effective way for me to retain information. Also, I know this is a really long video. I'm bad at talking. Okay, but yeah, so early schooling matched my developmental needs, but later schooling relied too heavily on abstract lectures. So that's kind of the gist of that.